When working inside of Dreamweaver and when creating web pages, you'll run into situations where you want to target more than one element when creating a selector. If that's the case, you'll be creating something called a group selector. In this case, what we want to do is style the overall text for the page, and a group selector is the perfect solution. So what we want to do is make sure that the style element is selected here in the sources category of the CSS designer. Then we want to come over and make sure that the selectors section is expanded. Now, when creating a group selector, it's difficult to make a selection over here in the design view to make sure that you're selecting the content that you want to select. So instead, you have to have somewhat of an idea as to what elements you're trying to target. Now, what we want to do is change the overall appearance of the text on the page. So we need to target the body element. But on top of that, if we ever work with tables, we want to make sure that the text inside the tables also appear in the same style that the text does on the page. Because of that, we need to create a group selector that targets not only the body element, but also some specific table elements. So what we're going to do is come over to the selectors section and click the plus sign. You'll notice right now it's capturing body H2. That's not what we want. And the style here, the syntax, is that of a descendant selector. What we want to do is create a group selector. In order to create a group selector, you separate out the different elements with a comma. So we have body, comma. Then we want to go ahead and add TD, and then add another comma, and then TR. These are table-specific elements. Now that we have that established, you can press Enter or Return, and then you can go over and come into the text section of the Properties category and make any changes that you want. I'll go ahead and choose a dark gray color and also choose a different font family. After making those changes, you should see the content updated immediately. Now, if you're not seeing that, what you can do is click into the design view so it has focus. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the size of this text, but before I do that, what I'd like you to do is select this group selector. And of course, it's important that you have the style element selected, then come over and choose this group selector. And I want you to delete it by clicking this little minus button. Why are we deleting it? I want to show you one other way that you can create this same group selector in a more visual way inside of Dreamweaver. So if we go ahead and remove this selector, we can then come over to the Modify menu. And under the Modify menu, you can choose Page Properties. Here in the Page Properties dialog box, you'll notice on the left-hand side there's Appearance for the category, and in parentheses you'll see CSS. At this point, you can choose a page font. I'll go ahead and select that same font that I chose earlier. You can also choose a font style. I'm going to set it to normal. And you can also choose a size. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 14. If you want to change the color, you can do that as well. I'll go ahead and set this to a light gray. Now, what's nice about this dialog box is you can click Apply. Once you click Apply, you'll see the changes immediately take place on the page. After reviewing the changes, if you want to modify the appearance further, like reduce the size, you can always do that. Once you're happy with the settings, you can click OK. Once you click OK, if you come over to All Sources, you'll see Body, TD, and TH. If we come over to the style element, specifically, you'll see that it is in fact inside the style element. You just have to come over to All Sources to kind of refresh the selectors list, but it is in fact embedded in this page within the style element. And if you wanted to verify that, you could go into the code view. Here you'll see the style element and you'll see your group selector. So a group selector gives you the ability to target multiple elements within your document.